Welcome to the Reminisce with Lauren Mann podcast, the place where we talk about the good old days, share anecdotes, and hear the wisdom and stories of older people. Here is your host, multi-award-winning carer and entrepreneur, Lauren Mann.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me.
A pleasure, my dear.
Oh, bless you. So, I've been speaking to Karen and she tells me that you have some really good stories about your working life. Where did you work?
Well, I left school at 14 and my working lasted till I was 20. After that, my working life was hope, because it was in those days.
Yes, yeah, of course.
You didn't stay at work, you went home to look after the family and take part in social, local things.
Yeah.
But
So where was local for you? Where were you born?
Grantham.
Were you? I was too. Were you born at home?
Oh, I was born on Tyndall Road.
That's nice.
I didn't live there very long, till I was about 4.5, I think. Then we moved up to the Robertson Road, which was all in that little group.
Okay.
It was a sort of a little area on its own, separate from Grantham, until, the 70s, I should think. Then things grew around them, of course.
Yeah. Lots of changes to the town. I bet you've seen a lot of changes.
It was a manufacturing town, really, because there were 5 or 6 little, besides the 3 big things, there were smaller ones as well. Yeah, it was.
So for those few years you worked at the offices, what did you do in there?
My father saw an advert apparently in the journal for a young girl to be trained as a reporter. So I left school at 14, which was your school leaving age, and joined at the journal.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes and no. There were good bits and sorry bits.
Yeah.
But that's where I met my future husband, because he was on the machinery side. What do you call it? He was
Like the printing?
He was a linotype operator.
Wow.
That was setting up the words which they wouldn't understand these days. It was a big operation, that was.
So did you learn to do shorthand?
Oh yeah.
You learnt the whole lot?
Greg was my shorthand. Most people did Pitman's, but we did Greg at school, so it was Greg.
You knew a bit of
I
background.
can still remember quite a few bits, but I couldn't whip it off very much fast now.
Yeah, that's okay. So you met your husband there?
Yes, he was 2.5 years older than I was. So we were married when I was 20.
And how long were you married for?
64 years when he died.
Oh, what was his name?
Alan Neal.
And did he stay at that job then, or did he have other jobs?
Well, no, he was in printing. It changed over. They went from the Grantham Journal to the Grantham Guardian, which nobody's ever heard of. That's a complicated story.
Okay.
You want me to tell you?
Oh yeah, go on. I love a complicated story.
The MP, perhaps you heard of Dennis Kendall, the MP he was. He was a bit of a maverick in a way. He was elected in 19 after the war anyway.
That's all
I
right.
think it was after the war, might have been even in the war, I can't remember. He was elected MP and he was a bit of a maverick, independent, he was. And then later on, I think he lost his seat, but he set up he got in with Mrs. van der Elst. Have you heard of her?
No.
She had my castle, which was, she called Grantham Castle, but it was Harleston Manor.
Okay.
And she had a business of her own in London, printing business. It's a bit complicated, I'm going in circles.
It's okay. I'm keeping up.
And he got in with her and got her round his little finger. So they set up a rival to the Grantham Journal, which was the Grantham Guardian. And my husband, who'd finished his 7 years apprentice, went over to his place. It didn't last ever so long, to be honest.
No. Oh dear.
And they got me being on a locally anyway, to report all right for them or something or other. It folded eventually, and the printing firm took over the printing. Harrison's it was called. And he was with them until he went to work with my father quite a long time.
Aww.
But it fell through.
Aww.
Naturally, it fell through. He hadn't got any money by then. I thought, if she got much left, I don't know.
Aww. So, Beryl, what was life like growing up for you as a child in Grantham?
You just had to get on with everything. That was all. It wasn't an easy life, but
No.
we were, my brothers and myself, we were a happy little family, like most people were. We just kept law and order in your family and worked together. And of course, when I was 12 when the war started.
You were 12 when the war started.
Yes.
What was that like? Was that a frightening time, or were you quite confident about
In
it?
its own way, in your imagination when you're 12, and then of course you've got younger brothers. It was hard, but you just had to get on with it, and that was all there was to it. It was, you scraped something out of nothing half the time. For one thing, you didn't have a lot of money, and for another thing, there was nothing available, and it's what called eking it out.
Yeah. Make do and mend. Make do and mend.
Oh, not half.
Do you think because of the war, a lot of people learnt to do things that they otherwise wouldn't have been able to?
I should think the majority had to do it in the first place.
Yeah.
But the war certainly dragged everything that you could do to make ends meet.
Yeah. Different kind of mindset entirely now.
My cousin says, she's a bit younger than us, joined in with us. She often says they don't know how to eke out, do they? I said, no, they don't.
No, it's
You made things out of nothing.
it's kind of uncomprehendable how much it's different now, like what the children have now, what you had to.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Buy something and throw it away. You'd save up to buy it in the first place.
Yeah.
Bit by bit.
Yeah. So did you have like a lot of friends around you
Oh
in
yes.
the war? They all helped together.
Oh, with the area I told you, with Tyndall Road, the Hill, and Robertson Road, and this little group, it was full of children, and we used to play in the street. And you'd just go on. Anybody, is your daughter, is your girl coming out to play? And like all the time, you played in and out with other people all the time.
What sort of things did you play?
You never stopped, really.
You made your own games.
Own games all the day long. Yeah, skipping with a great big skipping rope attached to the lamppost if there was nobody to hold it. And all in together, and it was always something.
Yeah.
Balls and whip and top, and
Yeah.
playing hide and seek.
It felt much safer back then.
Everything was safe. It grieves me how unsafe everything is.
Yeah.
We never bothered. In the blackout, you don't care where you went, you just were safe.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you ever witness anything happen when the sirens went off and you went in the shelter? Did you ever?
We didn't go in the shelter.
You
Not
didn't go
many
in?
folks did. Actually, there was a big brick shelter outside our front door at the end of the street. It took the side of the street up. I think some went in occasionally. I don't know what for. There was nothing in there. It was just a space, really. We went in our living room. My father made, I don't know what it's called now. We had a great big window to the living room, but you had to have it blacked out, of course.
Yeah.
So my father made these particular blackout things. They were heavy. I can't remember what they were for now. And you pegged them up, the two little pegs at the bottom and at the top. And they were the blackout, and they also protected against flying glass if there should be anything near that road sending glass around.
Did anything like that ever happen to you?
Not to actually the nearest to everything was near really in the town. It was such a small town compared to now. And where we were lifted up and we could see the whole town. It was virtually across a few fields to anything. And then on Farrow Road, the back of the dentist garden, they got a bomb there. And it made the water pipe, which was lead, in the kitchen, dragged away from the wall. We didn't notice it for 2 or 3 days as it was hanging off a bit.
You just fixed it and got on with it. There was no choice.
You just have to press on. Yes, you'd have.
So that kind of like mindset that you had just carrying on, where do you think that came from?
I suppose you just had to carry on. There wasn't much choice.
There wasn't a choice. Was obviously all this awful stuff was happening, but was the attitude of kind of keep calm and carry on, did that come from a range of places or mainly from government and posters and things like that?
It was just life.
It was community.
It was just life. You just had to get on with it. There wasn't much choice. That was it. You couldn't go around moaning about it. You'd soon get what you were about.
Yeah, I find it hard to comprehend because, like, a lot of my generation and younger generation, they would be moping about, and you want to kind of go, come on, Beryl didn't have it like this, and it's hard.
No, you didn't talk about it. You just got on with it.
Yeah, and we need that back. We need that attitude back.
Yes, we do.
And I don't know how to get it back.
No.
Do you?
I don't know. Well, no, because I don't know. It's got to go through a generation, really, for the younger ones to learn better as they grow up.
Yeah. So you.
It's going to take a long time because they're so used to buying what they want, throwing it out when they're ready. They haven't a clue about putting a penny away a week or something like that until you got enough to buy whatever it is. But when it was rationed, you couldn't buy it anyway.
What was the rationing like? What was the rationing like? Was that hard?
It was. it was good, but it was very, very meagre. The first things to be rationed were sugar and tea. Of course, they're all foreign,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Logistical.
They were the first thing. And then it gradually got smaller and smaller and smaller. So your rations for the week were a half ounce of butter. That's about that much. There was nothing else. There was no substitute.
No.
And a quarter of margarine, or was it 2 ounces of margarine, which was stalk margarine, which was the best, but it's nothing like it is now. And I think it was half a pound of sugar. It couldn't have been half a pound of sugar a week, but that had to count for cooking and drinks and everything.
Yeah. So how did you get your ration?
You had to be registered with a shop.
Right. And you got your ration book?
And you had your ration book, and it had to be marked off, stamped with a stamp, because eventually we got them printed out, ration books. So you didn't have to write in them, but yes, and that was it. You couldn't go elsewhere. Yeah. Got to be to that shop that you were registered with.
Did you? A few of the other people I look after used to do things like keeping chickens and growing their own vegetables. Did you do that?
Well, my grandfather had an allotment garden which was near ours. A lot of people did that sort of thing. And eventually, when my brothers got old enough, they were only about 9 and 11, I think, they took on an allotment. But my mother had to pay, of course, the rent.
Yeah.
But it was by the house, and it was, they had chickens, they had bantams, that's right. They had the allotment holders, the men, ever so kind to them. There's these two boys digging their garden and growing everything. They gave them 2 rabbits, one each.
Oh.
They were called Amos and Moses.
Oh.
That's what they called them. But one of them was a female.
Oh.
And they had their own hutches each, so they would mate them. And when the youngsters grew big enough, sell them to the butcher to augment your ration, because you had, what was it, 4 penny worth of meat a week, was it? Or was that when it was cut down again later?
Wow.
And so you didn't have a steak or anything like that.
No.
There weren't many about anyway, but it would take much of your ration. It was rationed according to the quality of the meat.
Right, okay.
So the cheap
You could have a bit more.
cheap lot, what was the cheapest, you got more of.
Right.
To make it
Pass it
around
around.
more.
Wow.
But what you lived on really was potatoes and flour and bread. And that was your main thing. You got to rely on those when nothing else out. You had to do something special with it to make it
Tasty.
edible.
Who used to do the food for you? Was it your mum, or did you do it for yourself?
Oh,
Making the ration
Oh no.
edible?
In our family, I suppose most, the mother looked after it.
Yeah. Was she
doled
good at
it out what there was.
Was she good at cooking, your mum?
Oh, she was, yes. Well, they all were in those days.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful, that is. So, how long have you lived here then?
In this place,
Yeah.
5 3/4 years, 6 3/4 years.
Oh, and you're the resident ambassador? So,
Got it now.
responsible role. What do you
Well-
have to do? What do you have to do in that role?
Well, I don't know, I suppose that ambassadors are really supposed to keep things cool between sides, really, aren't they?
Yeah. Do you enjoy it?
I don't know that I do much. I do.
You bring joy to a lot of people.
Well, I try. I suppose that's all part of it, talking to people. I like to know everybody's names, and I can't remember yours now. So I have to see it written down.
Lauren.
If I see it written down, I might remember it.
Oh, that's okay. So were you named after anybody? Was you named
No.
after a grandparent?
No, no.
Or anyone famous?
No,
No.
no. Beryl, June. June because I was born in June.
Oh, that's nice. That's wonderful. Now, have you ever met anybody famous?
Can't remember anybody famous.
No.
I used to call the MP. I should like to remember what he was called. I don't mean his name. What his pal called him. If you say that I met him, he was American actually.
Oh.
He went back to America eventually. He used to call you honey.
You did. Oh,
I don't think so, though.
no.
I had some photographs taken at the Journal of a couple of film stars visited.
Oh.
Clark Gable was one. Who was the other one? I can't remember the other one. I didn't exactly meet him, no.
Oh. And what sort of hobbies have you enjoyed in your life?
Oh, I could read forever, for one thing.
Reading? Is that what you said?
Read?
Reading?
Oh, yes, I could read forever. If you're looking for me being a book. Oh, I've learned to play the piano and be played with my brothers, games and indoor games, outdoor games,
Yeah.
and music. Oh, we loved music. My father had a gramophone, it was called in those days,
Ooh.
and he had records, 6 inches and 10 inches, I think they were. I'm not sure, can't remember. And he played them for ages, and he used to, especially men singing, a lot of those, and he used to sing them in the morning when he was up first, cleaning either cleaning his shoes for school or cleaning the fire grate out, and he used to sing them, and he got a lovely baritone voice.
Oh.
And all that sort of thing, we just did them ourselves.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Oh. What sort of music do you like?
Well, I used to love the singing things that my father had on. All sorts of, just trying to think what I call it now. No, it's gone from me.
That's
But
okay.
there were Irish songs and Scottish songs, English songs and opera songs. And
My son, my little boy, he's 8 and he loves the Dubliners.
oh, the Dubliners.
He said Irish. I thought, oh yeah, he loves their music. It's funny for an 8-year-old, but he loves the Dubliners.
Why the Irish particularly? Was there any connection with any Irish?
No, I don't know why he does like it. He heard a song on the radio once and his dad put it on for him and now he knows all the words off by heart.
Oh, well, of course you do. You hear it again.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah.
Because you need a thing to be singing about, really, don't you?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. They've got good stories and a lot of them are quite upbeat and he likes them. Yeah. That's why he asked for a banjo for Christmas.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Did he get one?
He did.
Well, it's better than the drum. A toy drum.
Yeah. I might bring him here so we can practice here. Bless you.
Oh, my husband's family were all in St John's choir.
Oh,
So they were all into singing all sacred songs and all sorts of things.
oh, that's good.
Yeah, they had there was 6 boys and a father all in the choir together, and it was a country record, I think, at the time.
Wow, that's good.
So we were all brought up on singing things,
Yes.
really.
Yeah, it's good. Gets everyone together, doesn't it, singing?
Oh,
Do you do
I
much
should love
singing?
to do it, but
Why don't you do it?
I don't know, really. I should have loved to have joined a choral society, but I was so busy looking after the Mothers' Union and the church things that I couldn't put my mind to too many things.
Yeah.
So I concentrated on them, really. I should love to have been in the choir.
So you've done some wonderful things then. You've had a good life.
Oh, I think so, yes.
You've enjoyed it.
It's had its ups and downs, of course.
Oh,
I could go off at tangents anywhere.
that's all right. Well, thank you so much for talking to me.
A pleasure, my
It's
dear.
been lovely. And I'm going to come back and talk to you again another day.
Oh, I hope so.
Right. I think it's cup of tea time.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Reminisce with Lauren Mann. We hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to sharing our next episode with you soon.